Hello, everyone. I'm Catherine Gamble with Gail Perry Group, and I'm here with Olivia Perino, who is our Client Services Manager. And today we are going to talk a little bit about one of the pain points that many people who work in major gifts have shared with us. And so one of those key points is not being able to find qualified prospects. Olivia, is that something you've seen with many of our clients?
Yes, and I something that we see a lot with our clients is just staff feeling paralyzed by the volume of data or just not knowing where to start, which metrics to prioritize.
Yeah, it's really challenging. We see it over and over again. And while it sounds kind of simple, surely there's some prospects kind of lurking around in our constituents in our database. But figuring out who they are is really a pain point and even qualifying them. So Olivia, what are some of the ways that we try to help people find the prospects that really are just right there in their database?
Yes, Catherine, and segmentation is how you drive that strategy. So, like I had mentioned, there are so many metrics and so many different metrics in different CRMs. So, the best practice and a way to simplify that process is to determine a wealth indicator, which more often than not is that wealth-based capacity. If that's not something that your CRM doesn't track, you can always look at past giving to the organization, maybe largest gift to that organization. So find that wealth indicator and then also find an engagement indicator. Some larger shops may have that RFM score, which again, that's recency, frequency, and magnitude of that gift is compiled in a score. Again, if your CRM doesn't have that, maybe you can look at number of years of giving, number of gifts, maybe if you track number of hours volunteering, that is another indicator. You just want to find something that tracks a person's involvement to your organization. So once you find that wealth indicator, you have that engagement indicator, you can start segmenting by what you determine to be high capacity or high engagement. That is going to be your first kind of way to find who those folks are that should be assigned to your major gift team, and who those folks that the data says, let's not prioritize those folks.
That's great advice. I hope everyone is taking notes on what Olivia has just shared because it truly works. I mean, sometimes I will say, if you really want to be successful at major gifts, you've got to be fishing in the right pond. And what Olivia has just described, this capacity-based, affinity-based, she gave you some tips on how you can figure that out, is really how you segment your donor pool that you have into that pond that is likely to be more productive for you. And then, the other thing we hear too, Olivia, so Olivia and I have worked together on several clients in working with them to build a major gift program, to be more efficient, to be more successful, raise more money, which is what we all want to do in that area. And so one of the things we spend a lot of time talking about too is qualifying. Olivia, I mean, we can find the pond, as Olivia has described, and we can kind of figure out who are our high capacity, high affinity, potential major gift donors. But then there's this next step, and it's a step I think gets overlooked a lot. Wouldn't you say, Olivia?
Yes. The data is your strategy, but how you qualify, that's your action plan. That's putting that into play. So it's how are you utilizing your board as connectors in this process? How are you setting that initial outreach? How are you tracking that follow-up? That becomes your roadmap to how you reach your fundraising goals.
Exactly. And the other part of qualification is just talking to the donor yourself and really asking people, are they interested in being more engaged? Could they see themselves supporting at higher levels your organization, your mission, really, and the vision of your organization? These are easy questions and easy ways to really qualify your donors. Of course, when I sit here and say it's easy, everybody's probably thinking, well, easy for you maybe, but really, take a deep breath. This is something that you can do and accomplish and really get past that really significant pain point about who are our major gift donors in our database, who are the people we need to be talking to on a regular basis, and how can we raise more money by really focusing in on major gifts. Olivia, go ahead.
I was just going to add to that, Catherine. As much as I love data, don't fall into the trap of only relying on that data and those data points. We all love to see that capacity and think, our eyes get really big with that, but don't be afraid to ask that donor, where do they see themselves? How do they see themselves being involved? And utilize the information you receive from that donor as part of that data equation as well.
Excellent advice, Olivia. That is so true. I think how many times that I've been asked by either a client or throughout my career, what do you think the donor's thinking? What do you think the donor, how come I can't get the donor to pay attention? All of these types of questions about being able to engage the donor and really, or know more about the donor, really, like you're talking about. But really, it's just asking the donor. Have you asked the donor is what I always say, because people will tell you, they will tell you everything you need to know. And if they don't want to talk to you, that's an answer too. When you say, Olivia.
Absolutely. We hear that a lot. How do I get this donor to talk to me? If they don't want to pick up your phone, if they don't want to answer your email, again, you use that as data that, okay, they're not part of this equation to get to our fundraising goal, and move on to the next donor to qualify.
Excellent advice. And I will also add this. When people, when you're qualifying a donor, keep in mind, everything in the major gift world is all about the donor. It's not about us. It's not a personal rejection. I think this is what drives so many pain points that we're going to be talking about over the next couple of weeks. These pain points in major gift fundraising. But a lot of this is not about us. It's really just about the donor. So it's really just like take a deep breath and remind yourself you are representing your organization to the donor. It's not a personal thing about you. It's really just about, focusing in, like, what Olivia said about how to find that pond, for example, and then be able to talk to the people in the pond, which is really going to be where you, as Olivia was saying, make all this actionable, which is really ultimately what we're trying to do, is make this work actionable so we can move forward. But you're only going to move forward with the people who want to move forward with you, which is what the whole point of qualification is about, is finding out at this moment in time which of those donors want to move forward with you in a relationship toward making a major gift. You want to add more, Olivia?
I just love what you brought up, Catherine, is your role as that fundraiser. You're the bridge between whatever organization you're representing and the reasons why that donor wants to give back. So to your point, just your role is to be the bridge, explain all the great things that are happening in your organizations, ways they can make an impact, make that ask, but don't take it personal.
Great advice. So everyone, we hope this is helpful to you. Hope it helps you put the pain point of, not finding those donors, how do you qualify them, into perspective. It gives you a little advice and hopefully just a little more confidence to go out there and have those qualification conversations, because once you do, you will be successful. So thanks so much for listening to us today. And thanks, Olivia. It's been great to talk to you this morning.
Absolutely. Great talking to you too.
Thanks. Bye.